welcome to another exciting episode of MindShareTV. I'm your host, Robert Martellacci, with the MindShare Learning Report and chair of the Canadian EdTech Leadership Summit, upcoming next week. Only 7 days to go, October 31st and November 2nd, in partnership with the University of Toronto, Scarborough, in a brand new facility. And today, I'm honored to have join me for a MindShare Learning Moment, one of the most dynamic and fastest growing fields in education in the area of esports. As AI continues to reshape industries, it's only natural that esports, a sector already at the forefront of technology and education, evolving. Joining us today to explore the future of esports in an AI-inspired world are two key leaders in the space, and Chris Clamarucciola, from Conestoga College, and Daniel Rolo from Esports Ontario, award-winning educator, past winner of the MindShare Schools of the Future Challenge, both of whom will be participating in the upcoming Canadian EdTech Summit. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Well, a little bit about Chris. As an esports coordinator at Conestoga College, he oversees the development and integration of competitive gaming with the academic ecosystem, helping to foster new pathways for students interested in the intersection of gaming, education, and technology, with a focus on building community and developing future-ready skills, and has been a trailblazer in leveraging esports to enhance educational outcomes. What a fascinating job you have, Chris.
Yeah, I love my job. It's been really rewarding.
How did you stumble into this? And was it accidental, like my first gig in EdTech working for Kevin O'Leary, or did you actually study this area?
I think it was a little bit of both, maybe. I started my own company 8 years ago in the kind of grassroots space, and then built it into a professional organization that we ended up selling and exiting from. That's the quick snap of your fingers over 8 years. And then got integrated into the schools through teaching at Seneca College, and then here at Conestoga teaching, and then getting the ability to join as the esports manager for the entire varsity portfolio here.
Fantastic. Daniel Rolo is a key figure in Esports Ontario, where he works to grow and promote esports across the province. With extensive experience in gaming and education, Daniel is passionate about creating opportunities for young people to excel in esports, both in competition and in careers. As technology and AI open new doors for innovation, Daniel, you studied at McGill University. You did a master's there in Nipissing, was it? What inspired Esports Ontario?
Wow, that's a big question. So, as an educator, you're always looking for what is cool to the students, what's going to engage students, what's going to connect with their world. And during the nameless pandemic from a few years ago, there weren't that many opportunities for students to sort of connect. Obviously, we weren't in schools, we were online. But as educators, as teachers, we still wanted to have opportunities for students to connect with one another, to be able to compete if possible, since, traditional athletics weren't an option. So a lot of us around Ontario started looking at what else can we do? How can we connect online? And esports is one of those activities that can be done online and connect people from across the province. And so as we kind of found each other, we realized, we need something a little more formal to kind of keep us all on the same track so that we're all kind of doing the same thing. And that's where the Esports Association came from for Ontario.
It actually looks like these kids are really enjoying themselves. Is it had a positive impact on their engagement in learning? And there's many girls that are also participate, which is great to see.
Yeah, the ratio of boys to girls is still far boy heavy that way. But it's one of those competitive activities that can be mixed gender, that can be mixed ages, mixed grade levels. It's not limited to, a specific grade level or gender. Your teams are composed of whoever wants to play and is good at whatever title they are competing in. And the kids love it. They have a blast. And in terms of engagement, it tends to draw those students who are not drawn to other traditional athletics, who still want to be able to, compete for their school and have that pride of representing their school, who may not be interested in the other athletic opportunities offered at the school. It tends to pull in those kinds of students.
Fascinating. And there's a competitive element to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Esports is competitive. Our focus is not exclusively on the competition side. It's also on the scholastic side. So what skills can we teach students through esports competition? Other skills like communication skills and problem solving and that kind of stuff. But the competitive part is definitely the fun part.
Well, we have the curriculum and resources here that are really important because it is becoming more mainstream and accepted in education. And just like I played high school hockey and others can compete in high school esports, which not everyone's into hockey these days. There's other options.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we are, because we are working with educators in the schools, we are working on developing curriculum that teachers can implement in their classroom that makes use of esports, but also teaches the expectations in the Ontario curriculum. So it's not additional work. It's just another means of covering the same curriculum you have to anyways.
Well, kudos to you for your leadership in this area as one of the founders. And what's the impact been like? What's the feedback like for you and your members of the organizing committee? And yeah.
Yeah, well, esports is definitely growing. There's an increasing demand from schools and school boards to know more about it and get engaged with it. We have some school boards that are developing their own school board esports league, so they no longer compete in our provincial leagues except for final tournaments and things like that. They've developed their own. They have enough capacity to develop their own league. So the interest is definitely growing. And as it grows, obviously, there are questions that need to be answered around privacy and things like that, and student data and whatnot. But as those questions kind of get resolved, more and more schools and more school boards are coming on board.
Fascinating. Thank you for that. Chris, over to you at Conestoga College. You're helping students develop their skills through esports. How do you see AI impacting learning outcomes and career pathways? KPMG just came out with a report today. I'll read the headline. With most Canadian students now using generative AI, they confess they're not learning as much. I think you need to read between the lines on that one because it's about their skills and problem solving and professors and teachers being upskilled to know how to leverage the tools. Yeah. Over to you, Chris. Thoughts? I think you're muted.
For somebody who's been teaching in the college for the last few years and being able to see the advancement of AI, I'll be honest, I've not caught students using AI in their assignments and whatnot, but as long as they're using it in the proper ways and they're not just like prompting something that they don't understand, totally okay with it. And what I encourage them is, especially international students that might not be able to get their thoughts across, they'll be able to use it in an efficient way to explain maybe in more detail, but still through their words. I guess if they're saying that they're not learning as much, hopefully they're attending class and being involved. But we've used in various cases like how to prompt AI to be more efficient in your work. A lot of students have had issues with burnout or other things that if they're able to use it in a constructive way, then it can be beneficial for them even in the workplace as we move forward, right? Maybe giving them ideas that they might not have thought of or might not have gotten full explanation from in the classroom. We only have 3 hours a week with some of these students, so an opportunity to maybe learn through AI works too. And then I guess on the gaming side, it's being used quite a bit, and it's even in some games where if you're playing a one-on-one scenario with the computer, it's learning how you play and adapting and making it more challenging as time goes on. So we've been using AI in the esports realm and in the gaming realm for a long time, and we're just seeing
cool.
go
Describe to me what we're looking at here. Is this one of the facilities?
This is our current esports facility, our hub.
Yeah.
This has 36 PCs. Students are able to come into the space, play on the PCs for 3 hours in between classes, before class, on their days off, whatever that is. We've got a console nook in the back as well, towards that back wall. There's actually a teacher's lectern on that far right side as well. So we do run a class on Wednesday mornings.
Oh, cool.
And our esports program in that space. And we actually have coming in next week a professional esports team coming to do a boot camp in our space. They're going to block off a section for them. They're going to work, practice, learn in that space, and then they're going to be heading out to Montreal for a major tournament.
Very cool. So talk to me about career pathways in that regard. As you alluded to, that you've got some professionals coming through. Are there any success stories you can point to or talk about in your program?
It's actually funny. We have a little bit of both. Pathways coming in reverse, coming from different regions in the world that were ex-professional players or managers or whatever, coming into the school to learn about the North American ecosystem, and then exiting back into the workforce now in North America. Our programs are just like, our first cohort just ended in May, so we'd have to go back and check the data for any success stories. But I do have a few students who have actually come back and worked for us inside of the hub here or within our team directly.
Oh, cool.
But part of this pathway is, there's hundreds of opportunities in the esports space within where you can work, whether it's a facility manager in our spaces or in any other space, team managers. We have a full production suite inside of our room as well, where we're hiring student staff to come and operate and do all kinds of different things. So
and what about the athletes themselves, right? You're actually, one of my neighbors, the son's an avid gamer and he has a law degree, but I've said it before, I could see him, being a pro in the esports arena. Parents don't obviously understand the potential, but as a pro, you can make a living at this and do well.
Yeah, and I come from the professional space, so definitely, and that's kind of where a partnership leverage with OC works too, where we can start developing a pipeline at a younger age, be able to get them into the college ecosystem, and then if there's any professional teams that are looking at players, they could then move through there.
Right.
We're not quite at that stage in the esports realm where we have an actual pipeline like you see in traditional sports, but I think as time goes on and we're able to explain this, and again working with Daniel and OC and our college and other colleges in the ecosystem, we can actually build that up.
What would you say about where we're at in our trajectory in terms of growth and evolution in Canada, in this particular region versus other countries around the world with the uptake of esports?
General, both of us, or just?
Yeah, you can answer, and Daniel can jump in as well.
I'd say again, the unnamed pandemic definitely gave us that boost, and it kind of plateaued. And I think everyone's trying to get their footing right now again in the ecosystem, and we're back on an upward trajectory. But I think we're a little bit behind Europe and Asia for sure when it comes to esports. A little bit behind the US as well, but we're kind of gaining our own pathway. I think we have through conversations and conferences that I've been to, we're really leveraging the K-12 and collegiate space right now, less so the professional space, because we're actually building careers and opportunities for students as opposed to just go pro in esports, because it's
right.
It
sounds like it's very organic and grassroots right now, and it will evolve to be a bigger play and in Canada. I'm seeing all kinds of esports hubs pop up, like the one down in is it St. Clair College in Windsor area that Dell was part of that. Daniel, over to you.
Yeah, no, I would echo what Chris is saying. I think that there are different spheres or ecosystems in esports. When you look at like the professional sort of sphere, I think maybe there's a little bit of contraction there as they try to figure out how to turn this into a comparable league and an ecosystem comparable to traditional sports. When you look at the K-12 space and you look at the collegiate space, I see esports is growing rapidly. It's certainly growing rapidly in K-12 with more and more schools coming on board every year. So it's kind of there's little pockets of different things happening in esports. But overall, I think the ecosystem is healthy and is growing.
Very cool. So, in the interest of time, I know you're both very busy. Final question. If there's an educator or student that's interested in getting involved in esports, I know Dan, you have a lot of great resources on your website. So you've really been mindful, being an educator, to provide curriculum. What advice do you have for educators who are looking to dip their toe? Because I don't imagine faculties of education are offering esports curriculum training, or are they? I mean, perhaps some are.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, this could be the start of something big for you. You can go around and help them, inspire them, both of you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say, and maybe this is just my personality because this is kind of how I did it. If you want to try it, just try it. Just jump in. There are a lot of supports already available. OC for one is definitely here. We're all teachers, educators that work with students directly every day. So we know what life in the classroom is like. So we know what your challenges are going to be with your IT department and your administration and how to, get this parent form home and all of that stuff. So if there's educators or administrators out there who are kind of like, we'd like to try it, but we don't know, just try it. Reach out to us for sure on our website. Schedule a quick call with any one of the members of the OC team, and we're happy to guide you through the process on how to get you on board. And you're going to start with one title, and by the end of 1 year, you'll be competing in every title we offer.
Very cool. Chris, over to you.
Yeah, I mean that was great. On my side, I guess I'm associated with OC as well, so it depends on where they're coming in. If they're trying to come in on the collegiate side, amazing resources with eSport Canada as well. We have a post-secondary kind of arm inside of the eSport Canada ecosystem through Discord, or anyone can reach out through LinkedIn to ask questions on how we're doing things. At least every school is going to be different, right? Whether for Conestoga, we're with athletics and recreation. Other schools might be through the student unions. So just really depends on what the school's going to go through on the collegiate side. And even if anyone has questions about the pro experience or working with professional teams, I'd be more than happy to connect and talk people through that as well. So,
well, thank you for that. That's been so fascinating to get a glimpse into the world of esports and in education, both at the K-12 and post-secondary levels. And, we're excited to have your involvement with our upcoming Canadian EdTech Leadership Summit, October 31st to November 2nd. And for the first time, we have our AI esports STEM symposium that's happening. But, there's a bigger play here, and it's the Professor Emeritus, Dr. Hinton from U of T, who incidentally is going to get an award from us, is talking about the next wave of the Industrial Revolution not being a physical one, but an intellectual one that's going to challenge us enormously. Why should educators and leaders that are associated with education or policy choose to come to an event like the one we're hosting?
I mean, if your goal as an educator or administrator or education influencer or innovator, if your goal is to be on the cutting edge of what is happening in a classroom and how technology integrates with that, then the EdTech Summit is absolutely the place to be. You're going to connect with other innovators, other thought leaders, other administrators who are there with you. So in terms of connecting with the people who are interested in pushing thinking forward and pushing technology forward, that's the place to do it at.
Thank you for that. And Chris, any final thoughts to share from your end?
No, I think Daniel summed that up fantastic.
Well, with that, Daniel Rolo, Chris Clamarucciola. It's almost like Martellacci in a way, a tongue twister of sorts, but I think I nailed it finally. Grateful for your time today. Looking forward to hosting your organizations at the 15th Canadian EdTech Leadership Summit back in Toronto at the University of Toronto in a brand new facility that's in the background here. I had an opportunity to visit it. Be sure to check out www.mindsharelearning.com to learn more and to register. And really, it's about helping our next generation, transform and preparing them for a future that isn't clearly seen, because it's never been a more exciting time to be in education. And the two of you have demonstrated that today. Until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the learning curve steep.